Dr. Hendrickson come to the work session and talked, representing FOCCAS, requesting that the city help them in their effort to build a new animal shelter. They're requesting the city to donate us property, and he gave us a spot that they looked at. And we've also looked at other spots to see if, if we can find a better one, because there are some concerns over there. But they would like for you to consider donating some property to put a new animal shelter on.
We did discuss this and have quite a presentation at our work session, 34 minutes to be exact.
I cut it short, sorry.
Mr. Mayberry, to put a motion on the floor, I move to give FOCCAS 6 months to raise $200,000 more in cash or in pledges or like-kind materials or labor to be added and matched with the $90,000 from the county and the $90,000 from the city, so that an area of city property to contain an appropriate amount of acres to be dedicated to the Crossville, Cumberland County Animal Shelter.
I will second that motion.
I have a motion and a second.
I'd like to ask Dr. Hendrickson to speak to that motion.
Okay.
I'd like to hear your motion again.
Sally got it up.
Parts of it. The rest is on tape.
Yeah. Bless you, Councilman Graham. We really appreciate the support of the City Council. And we are, believe me, we are working overtime. And after a 60-hour work week, we're working overtime to make this reality for the community. We think this will make a tremendous difference in the spirit of animal welfare in this community. We think it'll be a great thing. One, a great draw for many people moving to this community. We think it'll help increase, as I mentioned at the council work session, adoptions, return to owners, volunteerism, donations, and just really is overall benefit to the community. And we cannot thank you enough for supporting this.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor. One of the things that I'd like for you to take to heart, and all your fellow FOCCAS individuals, is that I'd like for you to work with, or your designee, to work with the city manager and the city engineer in discussing what we have. I don't know. That's why it's wide open as far as an appropriate amount of acreage. I thought, I don't know what that is, and I don't know where the location is that would be appropriate. And I think I'd like to see you all over the next 30 to 60 days come up with that, because I think it would help you in your fundraising if people knew that we were very interested in, and you all have made a decision on what we have.
I agree, Jage. Mr. Begley came by the office today. I gave him a PDF that has the footprint of the facility, the unified facility of the Option Center and our shelter plant. He said he was going to go scout around. He would be back to me within a week with several options. And I agree. We think that it will make a tremendous difference in the public support when we have a dedicated location inside the city and visible.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to call for the question, Mr. Mayor.
Can we get a, can you read that motion back, please?
No, I'll let Mayor Pro Tem, because I've got most of it, but there's a section in there.
I'll try. I'd like to move to give FOCCAS 6 months to raise $200,000 more in cash or in pledges or in like kind to include materials and labor. And if they raise $400,000 matched with the $90,000 from the city and $90,000 from the county, then an area of the city property, to contain an appropriate amount of acres would be dedicated to the Crossville, Cumberland County Animal Shelter.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. I have concerns over this because I think the original commitment that FOCCAS came up with was $500,000, was it not? That you planned on raising?
That was our hope, sir. Yes.
And a major concern that I have is that we're talking about the Cumberland County shelter that's run by the Cumberland County, and this hasn't been worked out with them, and this does not meet their requirements as to what they have told FOCCAS as far as I know. I think that this is a little premature, and that there needs to be more discussion about the location and all the details, and it has to be discussed by far with the county so that the county stays involved and agrees with what discussions come up. So that's my comments in reference to this particular agenda item.
Mr. Mayberry, in retrospect, they indicated during our work session that the building that they were going to look at would be 4,400 square feet with an estimated cost of $580,000. That's where the 400 plus the 90 and 90 came from.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion on this particular item?
Just to make sure I understand the motion. The motion really is that that we are willing to donate land to this animal shelter if they raise the additional money that they're saying that they'll raise. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's my motion,
Just
sir.
want to make sure.
Clarify, I've heard 400,000 and I've heard 200,000.
Not the night you had.
They claim to have 200,000 already pledged.
Oh, additional 200.
He said an
Okay.
additional 200,000.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Excuse me, sir.
They have 200,000 pledged or raised so far.
Yeah,
and
but I
this is
didn't
just an
mention that.
additional-
I didn't mention that. What I mentioned was raised
An additional.
$200,000 more in cash pledges or like kind for materials and labor to total 400. And then they would match that with the 90 from the city and 90 from the county.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
And he does have that in writing if you need to clarify it down the road.
Got that.
Any other questions or concerns on this particular item? Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Graham,
Aye.
Councilmember Wise, Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Shane,
Aye.
Mayor Mayberry.
No. Motion carries. Next item.